Okay, so hey guys and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Shields versus Lepage-Joanisse fight. And so if you're on around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need, like the video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Shield is 14-0 with 2 KOs and Lepage-Joanisse is 7-1 with 2 KOs. This fight is for the WBC, WBF and WBC and WBF World Heavyweight titles, and then I believe it's WBC, WBA Interim, and WBO World Light Heavyweight titles. Shields' last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Conejo, and Lepage-Joannisse's last fight was a win via split decision versus Vidal. And this is Shields' first time fighting at this weight. She is aiming to become a 4/5 weight division champion with this fight. She is, of course, in her home country of America. Lepage-Joannisse's loss came via TKO in round 3 versus Jimenez in 2017. And to speak a bit more about what I've just been saying, like I say, I'm not necessarily sure how this works. You know, women's boxing at the heavier weights, due to there being a lack of big fights, and this being the first kind of maybe ever big women's boxing fight at a heavier weight, they've seemingly put two different weight categories, lots of belts on. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, Shields, of course, going up in weight. She's going up to, heavyweight, which is 2 weight divisions higher than what she has been fighting at. And so it's going to be interesting to see what weight she even comes in at, to be fair. But she's facing Lepage-Joanisse, who is a heavyweight champion in her own right. I believe she is the WBC champion, I might be wrong. She, of course, won that belt in that last fight versus Vidal, which was an excellent fight of just pure entertainment, to be completely honest, between the two of them, just throwing it out and in the end getting a split decision. But this is a huge opportunity for Lepage-Joanisse, and I'm sure she is, like any fighter who gets a huge opportunity against, one of the best of the sport in Claressa Shields, she's going to be very eager to prove and really wanted to go out there and show something, and she definitely could in this fight. I mean, like I say, Shields moving up in weight, Lepage-Joanisse being the natural heavyweight, being quite strong at the weight as well, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Shields deals with it. Of course, she's coming off an excellent unanimous decision performance against Cornejo. Of course, Cornejo not being one of the best of fighters in the division, but it was you know, it was about a year ago now, to be fair. She's not really been the most active, but it was a fight to get her back fight in. And, like I say, she's not been the most active. She fought, I believe, twice in 2022 with the Shields big fight, and obviously that took a bit of time to get that over the line. And then only once in 2023 against Cornejo, but in like I think it was June time, and then obviously now she's fighting over a year later at a different weight. So training wise, I'm not necessarily sure how disciplined she stayed or anything like that, and if she's been training consistently hard and everything like that. I'm sure she has been, but we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, it's another Salita promotion show in which Shields is headlining, and to be completely honest, I don't mind these shows. They're good shows. I'm sure Salita Promotions have kind of said to Shields that she will be the main focus, she will be the main event, and all the eyes will mainly be on her for this. And that's mainly why maybe that's why she's wanting to continue to fight with them, because she definitely could be on a bigger stage fighting if she wants. But nonetheless, Salita Promotions is building themselves, and they do have and have been working with good fighters and do have that zone backing, and have the likes of Michelle Rivera on this card and an Ergashev on this card, two fighters who have suffered big losses in their careers but are still top highly ranked fighters who are wanting to get back to a high level. So, I'm not doing a prediction for either of them, but it's just interesting to see why Shields is paired up with them. And obviously, like I mentioned, Lepage-Joanisse has lost before. But it was a while ago now, and after that 2017 loss, I mean, she's been more active recently. She then took, I believe, like 5 years out till like 2022, and then fought like a good few times, maybe 4 times, 3, 4 times over the past couple of years. So a bit more active, but still not crazily active. And a 5 year break is never going to help anybody. But of course, she's achieved her biggest goal in that time. So she's got that momentum with her, just like that of Shields, and she's going to be confident coming into it, just like that of Shields. And to speak about them both individually as fighters, Shields, she's known for her speed, her fast hands, a very good defensive movement, and her great reactions to then be able to counter front foot back foot counters nicely, and she really showed that in that Cornejo last performance. Obviously, moving up in the weight, will she perhaps have more power? Will she slow down a bit? Will she be able to keep the work rate, which is always very, very high of hers? Always questions which every fighter has to show when they move up in weight what's the case and what's not the case. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I say, I don't know how Shields has done this weight growth, if she's done it well or not, but we'll have to wait and see. She's got a good jab. I like how she really stops her opponents coming in with that jab, and did that consistently against Cornejo. She can fight at a mid-range or in close. I think when she does a lot of her best boxing, I would say it is at a mid-range, but when she was against Marshall, she was doing a lot of her best working in close, where she was just letting her hands go, and Marshall was just kind of covering up, standing tall, and then taking the punishment. So we'll have to wait and see how she deals with this. Maybe she'll fight like that similarly, because Lepage-Joanisse will be the bigger fighter out of the two, most likely, and she might just be covering up if she's under pressure, but we'll have to wait and see. She's comfortable on the back foot. She stalks you down when she is on the front foot. She lets her hands go. She makes you question from early on with, she's quite patient early on, but has good defensive reactions, like I say, and movements, and that does make you question, and I'm sure it wouldn't surprise me if Lepage-Joanisse is coming into it respecting Shields possibly too much, which is something which her status has built, and something in which a lot of fighters have to kind of push back and push that aside. She has, like I say, good front foot counters, works angles nicely, and she's aggressive. And got a great work rate in the process as well. Negatives about her though, perhaps overconfident. Lepage-Joanisse is going to be a tough fight, and we'll have to wait and see if she is going to be too overconfident coming into it, and maybe get drawn into a fight, in which I think that's Lepage-Joanisse's most likely game plan to do. She's got very wide hooks and overreaches very much so with them hooks, and not to say Lepage-Joanisse is defensively that good, but she could possibly see more shots coming, and Shields is probably going to be punching up to Lepage-Joanisse, so we'll have to wait and see how these wide hooks, which, like I say, come from very low down and really loop round, which carry more power, but they are quite easier to see. She doesn't really cut off the ring too well. I think she can try and force the fight a little bit at times, and when she is in close, she definitely stands straight on and just kind of lets off flurries of punches like that. She can stand quite tall as well, and have possibly a bit too much of a wide stance at times when she wants to plant her feet, and it just makes her an even bigger target. I think she can smother her work. And perhaps that's not always a bad thing, because it can smother against opponents who are good on the inside, but I think Lepage-Joanisse, who's good on the inside, is also somebody who can deal with fighters who are going to try and smother you, and with the physicality like Lepage-Joanisse has, she might be able to push Shields off of her. She headhunts a bit at times, I think, Shields. She can be drawn into a fight, which, like I say, could definitely be a factor, and we could have to wait and see if that happens. And she does, with that overconfidence, drop her guard a bit as well at points. And speak about Lepage-Joanisse as a fighter, I believe she's got a good chin. She's a come forward type fighter, and technical boxing ability wise, there's not really too many crazy things about her. But like I say, good chin, come forward, changes levels relatively nicely, lets her hands go. I think her head movement at times isn't awful. I think Shields is very good, but I just think that Lepage-Joanisse at times isn't terrible, and against some other heavier fighters, sometimes their head movement isn't always that good. But she does, like I say, she doesn't always use it. I think she's an enclose type fighter. She's physical, got a good work rate herself, and is going to be continually throwing. And if she can have her own way and push Shields onto the back foot, she will definitely let her hands go and possibly be able to make the better of the exchanges. We'll have to wait and see. But she has also a solid jab. She punches over the guard quite nicely. She is quite wide of her shots, maybe not quite as wide as that of Shields, but Shields has good technical boxing with her other shots that are clean, sharp, crisp, and Lepage-Joanisse is quite wide of all of the shots in which she throws. She does force you back with that physicality that she has, but like I said, I don't really think she smothers her work in close from what I've seen too much. Negatives about her, I think she's more flat-footed and doesn't really have too much defensive movement, and I think that's when perhaps balance-wise she could be a little bit poorer, and she's definitely going to be there to be hit, in my opinion. I think in general, like I say, her balance on the back foot isn't excellent. This is a big step up in opponents for her, and Shields is maybe chosen an opponent like this for a reason, to be able to make a statement. For her, being able to say she's a 4 or 5 weight division champion is huge, but it's just like maybe picking the opponents a bit nicely for her. But like I say, if this wasn't for all these belts, then I wouldn't see Shields going for a fight like this. I just wouldn't see it happening. She can be drawn into a fight like Lepage-Joanisse, but probably will try and do that as her game plan. Can be caught in range too long, has quite a weak guard, wide punches, like I say, and stands straight on. And neither of them are overly the most powerful punches. I'm surprised Shields doesn't really get more stoppages, but it's credit to the girls, and I guess she is in with toughness wise. Shields is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Shields will win via unanimous split decision. I think it's going to be close. I think there is going to be times in which they're going to be drawn into a war, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I think Shields definitely will be wanting to make a statement, probably with the heavier weight on her. She's going to probably be wanting the knockout and maybe trying to force the stoppage a bit too much. But if she can keep to her mid range, she could really frustrate Lepage-Joanisse. But if Lepage-Joanisse can get in close into the later rounds with her physicality, I believe she can push Shields back and will let her hands go when opportunities come available. And that's when I think it could become a bit of a close fight and then a split decision. And split unanimous decision. A split decision for this fight would be poor for Shields, to be completely honest. She has really high expectations for this one, and she puts that pressure upon herself. And then possibly we could even see a rematch. Will we? Probably not. But Marshall again, talks wise of who she could then go on to fight. That opportunity is always going to still be there. It's like Casey Taylor and Serrano. That fight's always going to be there. That I feel like a lot of the best fighters always have that rivalry, and that really adds to them. And what makes them an even greater fighter is they have that rivalry. And obviously now in PFL that could be an option as well. There's a lot of talks around them doing that. Of course, Shields has gone and fought recently in PFL and won. So we never know. We could see Shields versus Marshall in PFL next, which would definitely PFL wise be a big draw for them. If she wants to, stay around these big weight divisions and go for undisputed type routes, Daniels, light heavyweight champion IBF, probably one of the best routes in which she could go down because there's a lot of belts that aren't really available. There's Keneally who recently won the WBC, I believe, light heavyweight belt, so she could go for that as well. But we'll wait and see. Or Green, she's coming off a win on the Perry Paul undercard, not just last weekend, so you never know, we could see that one as well. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.